Hello and welcome to Bert's Imperfect Bakes, the channel where it's okay to not bake perfectly every time. I'm Bert and this week I'm going to be making some celebratory Hindu caramel macarons. No pressure. So to begin macarons you need to sieve some icing sugar and ground almonds into a bowl, and this is to get all the unnecessary nonsense out of the ground almonds. It's easier to do with a spoon so that the icing sugar doesn't go everywhere and the almonds don't go everywhere, quite frankly. Just scrape that in and then you'll find you get some hard bits at the end, so just put that into a bowl to one side and then sieve it again. It's a double sieve situation we have. It takes a bit of time, so you need to be patient. You don't want any unnecessary lumps in your macarons. And they seem to be quite difficult to make, but actually once you know how, they're pretty easy. And again, with those bits that won't go through the sieve, pop them in a bowl to one side. I actually used those remnants in a base of a cheesecake, last week's video. And then we're going to put some egg whites into a bowl. We need 4 in total. I've put 1 egg yolk aside because that went into my cheesecake last week. Note, I did 2 videos in 1 week. And then once you've done all your eggs and dropped a yolk into the egg whites and carefully removed it again, then you can start whisking with an electric whisk. Also add a little teaspoon of some white vinegar into the egg whites. That will keep your chew in your macarons. As you're whisking the egg whites, you need to add some sugar, caster sugar, a bit at a time, and whisk after each addition. Again, time consuming, so be patient. What you want is a stiff peak situation by the time you're finished. And then add some colour, whatever colour you fancy. I'm going for a caramel colour because I was making caramel flavour. And there you see, it's all incorporated nicely. And keep whisking until you get those stiff peaks, otherwise they won't work. So we have some stiff peaks there, and just to test it, I'm going to put it on my head, as you do. Thankfully, it was fine. It's definitely done. And then once you've done that, you've got your ground almonds and icing sugar from before that you sieved, and pop that into your fluffy stiff peak egg whites. And mix it very carefully. Obviously this has been sped up a lot, but you need to fold very slowly. About 35 to 40 folds until you can create a figure of 8 in a ribbon that doesn't break, and it's quite glossy. It's nice and gentle. Again, time consuming. You need a lot of time to make these. And then once it's all mixed in nicely, you're going to pop it into a piping bag. I put mine into a glass because that makes life easier rather than trying to hold the piping bag and fill it at the same time. Once that's all in there, get rid of some of the air bubbles by squeezing the bag slightly and then tie an elastic around the top so it doesn't come out the other end as you squeeze. And then it comes out very quick, this, so be careful. And then create some nice little poos on your baking tray, which is lined with baking paper. They don't look very attractive, and you could just leave them like this and then be mini meringues as opposed to macarons, but once you've put them all onto your baking trays, you need to flatten them even more. So create as many as you can, evenly spaced on one tray, and then fill as many trays as it takes until the mixture is gone. And this is what I mean by flattening. You need to bang your tray on a board to soundproof slightly, and tap around the edges of each side, just so that they flatten out like so. Magic! Simple tricks. And then fill another tray. And another tray. That's the same tray, by the way, just 2 pieces of baking paper. Clever. And then it's all gone. Just splodge it out. And then tap that one down. And then once they've been tapped, you need to... Once they've been flattened, you need to leave them all to one side to set for a good hour, possibly 2, until they have a harder outer shell, so that when you touch it, nothing comes away, like so. And obviously wash your hands before you start stroking the macarons. And this is in the oven. As you can see, they've grown their little feet. And this is once they've cooked, so they're cooked once they come away from the baking paper like that and leave no remains on the paper. And now for the filling, I'm melting some white chocolate. As you can see, we all know how to melt white chocolate. And this is the various steps of making caramel. So I've got some brown sugar, light brown sugar, and butter in a pan on heat, and mixing it. It's melting. Keep stirring it. And keep stirring, and then it'll start to bubble like this once it's all melted. Stir it some more, and then you're going to add some condensed milk. Mix that in, keep it on the heat. It will get very hot, so be careful of any splashes. Keep mixing until it's bubbling at the sides like this, and then it bubbles some more like this. Keep stirring. Stirring, and then that is done. Take it off the heat and mix it into the bowl of melted white chocolate. Look at that lovely goo. Ooh, steam going off it and all. And give it a good mix. Be careful though, it's hot. It should look like this once you're done. Nice caramelly caramel. Now we're ready to play some pairs. Just gotta get myself organised. And basically you have to match up each macaron to the other by making them size matched-ish, or as good as they can be. So this is what I was doing. Again, takes time. Patience, people, patience. And then once you've matched them all up, I turn one over and leave one on the other side, so that I know which one I'm putting the filling on. And then I've decided to get another piping bag to put my filling in. It's cooled by this point, by the way, but it's still quite runny, so it did come out of the piping bag very fast. So that's all done there, and oof, came out very quick. And cover each base of each macaron until they're all done. And then just have a spare one there, just to trial it in the process. Good macarons. And then you need to put the tops on each base that you've just filled. And just squish the mixture down a little bit so it all evens out. And there you have some pretty looking macarons. And then once you've done them all, you're done. So the macarons are now decorated with a white chocolate caramel filling, and I've stacked them up very carefully. I'm just going to try one. It's my sister phoning. I'll phone her back in a minute. These are amazing, if I do say so myself. The gooey in the centre like they should be with the meringue. And the caramel filling, I mean, I know I shouldn't be eating them because if I lower his due next week. But, I mean, I have to sample the goods. Can't be giving them away without actually trying them. So I'm going to put them in the freezer now, because once you've filled them, you can put them in the freezer and they'll last a few months, and then you just take them out, defrost, voila. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon. And if you have any suggestions for anything you might like me to make in the next episode, please put them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time. So, what do you think of the macarons, Laura?
Fantastic.
Stacey? Very good. Thank you very much.